my question for you is how do organizations go about identifying the right problems to solve with AI, or I guess the right opportunities to execute on, and what insights do you have into that space?
I think it's partly just educating yourself and knowing what AI is actually good at, especially with this generative AI world, I should say. It does a lot of things, but perhaps focus on the things it's good at and look at kind of what does that look like in your organization. And that's solved for before. I think when you're exploring things like AI, the DVF framework is really important. Desirability, viability, and feasibility is really important in selecting which problems to solve. And obviously UX represents the desirability lens there, and it's such an important one early on, from the customer journey mapping and understanding where those pain points and opportunities, so we know we're solving a real problem, right? Some of those ideas that I spoke about earlier came out of exploring the journey through the different touch points and where users or customers were failing or being blocked for whatever reason. And then once you've selected the problem to solve, it's really designing ultimately the experience around that. And I talked a lot before about especially when these days users are part of creating the input that's fed into a model. I talked about taking photos before, even prompting is a form of input, right? So how do you design for that? So ultimately, from a UX perspective, it's contributing to prioritizing the pain points, opportunities to address, and then designing the experience so it's actually used, by your customers is an important kind of consideration when you're delivering the solution. And obviously user testing and trialing out different approaches is an important kind of approach to all of this as well. And, it's not a once-off, build it and it'll work. It's constant feedback, and you need to iterate over that and discover and kind of adapt to change essentially.
And I think if we have to break down any successful implementation of AI, there have been, I would say there have been three key factors which have, governed that. The first one is obviously data and, the quality of data. So as UX practitioners, how can we ensure that we are capturing the right data, or we are telling the AI, this is the right data to capture, and this is free of biases. The second one is, what is the ecosystem of AI that we are building? So what are the, given the kind of problems that we have to solve, are we solving it holistically? And how is AI really helping us solve it in a holistic manner?